Thank you so much for tuning in to another Brainrich podcast episode. I'm here with Sarah Breitenother. And Sarah, she has a company, brand new company that just recently launched on the market called Little Bloomer. They offer two cool things. They offer an app that you can go in and look into a kid's development all the way from newborn to 2 years of age. And then also they provide a subscription box where you can get toys to meet each development milestones for newborn till 12 months right now, right?
Yes, correct.
I'm pretty sure more will come into
More
development.
to come.
Yeah, more will come into development. So stay tuned. This episode will be packed with cool insights from Little Bloomer subscription box. You'll see toys that comes inside, and Sarah will share her story, how things started, and why you should subscribe to Little Bloomer app. So stay tuned. Thank you, Sarah. I always like to listen to stories of a company's founders, and you're being such a new company on the market. I'm pretty sure you have an amazing story.
So we're a new baby brand. As I was telling you, we launched April 10th was like our official launch date. So it's actually like a month and a half ago, less than 2 months ago. Our goal is to be a new baby brand, and we want to make playtime easier for new parents. I think that's the main goal, because playing with your baby is actually crucial for their development, right? A baby doesn't really play in the sense of like having fun. Everything is like new for them, but it's actually very, very important for their development. And so one thing that I've noticed as myself when I had kids, and that I think is very, very common for new parents, is like, one, they don't actually know that it's like that important, to have like the right toys and like to play with your baby in the right way. And also they just have no clue how to do it. I mean, at least I had no clue how to do it. That's basically why we launched Little Bloomer, to make the entire process easier. So the first thing we launched is a baby toy box subscription. So every 3 months we send parents a box of toys that has up to 8 toys. So our first box is 8 toys. This box is filled with toys that are like the right toys that your baby needs for this very age. So they're not just like fun and they're cute, like there's some in the background, we're trying to make them like very cute and very colorful, but also they're really specifically chosen to make sure that it will fit the baby's developmental need at this age, right? Newborn to 3 months, and I can show some of the toys like later, like some black and white, toys, because eye contrast is very important. We have a little mat that's actually portable. Lots of things to make sure that the baby will meet their milestone. That's the first part of Little Bloomer. The second thing is our goal was to not just give people the tools, because the tools are nice. If you get tools, if you don't get the manual that come with it on like how to use things, really, you're only halfway there. So we've actually created an app, Little Bloomer Play Tips. That's is what we call, which is tons of tips and activities, and just like is there to help parents know more about how to play with their baby. We have a tracker in there that tells them what milestone their baby should reach at this stage. We have activities to play with the toys, so that we give you the toy, but we also tell you, hey, at this age, those are ways to use the toy. But also in 3 months, once your baby can like do more, you can also use the toy, like use our toy in another way. It's all about supporting parents and making playtime just easier, right? So you get the tools, you get the tips, you can just be with your baby and follow the guidance and make everything not stressful, and knowing that what you're doing is also good and will help reach developmental milestones. So that's kind of like Little Bloomer. You asked me about the story. The story is very much me not having a clue what to do, When my eldest daughter was born, I really didn't know what to do. And I asked advice around, and they were just like, well, just lay your baby down and, put a toy next to them and they'll look at it. And I was like, that's it? What else should I be doing with my baby? I mean, obviously, I talked to my baby. I kind of knew you had to do tummy time. I think that's the one thing that parents get hammered with, which is like, you have to do tummy time. But that was basically it. Fast forward, my daughter's 10 months old. We go to her appointment and she was still not crawling. She wasn't late, but 10 months is the kind of thing where you would expect her to be very close to crawling. And so my pediatrician suggested that, I help her crawl, and didn't tell me anything else. Didn't give me activities I could do with them. Just, it was like, yes, you need to help and push her. And so that was just so frustrating and so overwhelming because I was told, hey, you need to help her reach this milestone. And there was nothing else I was told about it. Well, she did end up crawling. She did end up, walking and everything. But on the moment, it felt very just confusing as a new parent that I was told, hey, there's this milestone she needs to reach. And there's nothing, no help whatsoever to help me, to help me help her. And so that's really like why I wanted to do Little Bloomer, because I do think this is very, very common for new parents. That's really the story, which is take out the guesswork out of playtime, make it straightforward, make it fun. Playtime should be easy, it should be straightforward. And so that's what we're trying to give parents.
I remember with my first one, well, the first thing, you kind of have to adjust to your body different measurements when you grow in your baby, right? You have to kind of take care of your body, making sure it develops nice and perfect, healthy little baby inside of you. So you kind of have to look at your diet, all those like activities that like yoga and stuff like that. You have to research about the delivery processes and all of that. So when the baby comes, for some, it's like it's almost kind of late in a way to start looking at the toys. It's like, oh, there's actually a toy piece. So majority, from my experience as well, majority of new moms having first baby, they start thinking of toys. Well, they could start thinking when they create a wish list, but then it's also kind of guessing work what Amazon suggested to you or other kind of they want you to buy. But the expertise, the expert advice of what you should get for a certain stage from your baby's development since they're newborn, I think what your company does, what you did, you kind of created this little guidebook for the at least first year of your newborn baby life. So you kind of took the guesswork out from new parents, not to think about the developmental stage. You already have that settled in, which is amazing. It's a huge plus on taking out the research part from parents' head. That's awesome. So one thing I was gonna ask you, I was interested, the expertise, the expert advice behind the toys that you put in the boxes.
Yeah, so we work, her name is Sarah too. I only hire Sarah now. I'm kidding. It just happened that I have someone that, or we call her it's her play expert. Her name is Sarah Suminski. She's been working with us to really on two parts, like one, just telling us what type of toys we need to put in the box and really like helping her curate and develop the toys that go in the box and making sure that really we hit all the developmental milestone for each age group. And she also helps us with all the content that goes in the app. And her background is in early childhood education. She used to be director and she studied, that's what she studied. So she has really the expertise, both like I guess in theory, but also in practice as a director of a daycare. And now she creates curriculum for kids. She also raised her own like 2 kids, and now she's also a play expert. And she's been really amazing. I mean, she's a great human being, so she's been amazing to work with as a person, but also she has so many good ideas. I remember the first time I met with her, we started looking at the type of toys we could do for certain age groups, and she coming up with ideas, not just for like this age group, but also later. Like one of the things that I have was, I mean, it's there, like one in one of the boxes that are like not out on the market yet. We actually have a play tunnel for 9 to 12 months because this is when babies start to crawl. And it's the kind of thing where it's like, ooh, we can do a play tunnel. And then we can, expand on it in like the 15 to 18 months box or in later box and have this. I mean, it was really just such a great feeling meeting someone that had so many ideas and on the toys and also on all the activities that we could do with them. So now we have tons of activities already in the app. And then on top of that, every week on Wednesdays, usually, we send out a newsletter. We also put it as a blog on our website that has basically a new weekly activities that you can do with your baby. And we do for the first 2 years of life. And so for your 0 to 3 months, this is like a weekly activity that you can have so that every week there's something new and there's something fresh that you can do with your baby. And so, yeah, that's been amazing. My background is not in early childhood education. I have 2 kids, but I'm not an expert. I do my best to raise them and that's it.
You're a product tester.
Exactly. Whereas she has amazing background and she has so many good ideas. Yeah, that's our expert.
That's awesome. Can you show some examples of what
Yeah.
goes inside of the box?
Yeah. So all our toys come in actually in a tote bag, because that's the other thing that you probably know as a mom, which is toys end up everywhere.
I know.
Everywhere. And so it was one of the things which was like, oh, what if we give the toys, but also we give a way to store them? And so in each box, all of your toy will fit in a toy, or like most of the toys should fit in a tote bag. So box one, the main toy that we like, or like say our hero toy is actually, it's what we call the 3-in-1 play mat. So it's a mat that you can lay your baby, and really you can use it in many different ways, 3 ways. So you can obviously lay them down, they can do tummy time, and then it actually folds. So that also they can snap it. And so it folds like that. And so they can use it with the mirror, they can use it with the black and white card, you can do tummy time, you can place them on their back under. So that's really the big hero toy for our first box. And we've had great feedback about this toy. I think a lot of parents at first thought, oh, it seems a little small, but then you realize that actually your baby is tiny, and that it's actually perfect for the newborn stage when they don't need something huge when they're tiny, and that's perfect. And the fact that it folds, we already have a few parents that have told us that they just take it with them, right? If you go to the grandparents, take it with you, then grandparents don't need a separate gym. You can put it in the tote bag or anywhere else.
That's cute.
Yeah, with this mobile. We've had great feedback about that. I think a lot of some parents have told us that this mobile particularly, their baby just focus on it longer. And like we've seen some, like I've had a parent tell us, oh yeah, like my baby will just look at it for 15 minutes, which for a 1 or 2 months child is pretty amazing. So like, again, this has been really good. We have obviously another little mirror, because we know that babies and mirror, very important.
They love.
And this one squeaks for like, again, for both like physical and cognitive development. We have a book in the first, which is black and white, because I mean, up to 3 months, it's mostly what we want for newborns. And then the last thing is actually those just like what we called links, activity links, which again are different texture. Once they get to a certain age, they can actually, like, this is the kind of thing where, yes, right now you can use it for whatever. We actually use them, like, say you can use them also to just like attach things. But also, once your baby is 5 months and it's going to start putting things in their mouth, it's also the right texture for them to actually just like chew and tea with them. So really, we always try to keep in mind, is it good now? How will it, translate later? Because we don't want to give toys that people only use for 3 months. We want to really provide toys that, they'll use
sustainable
now,
in the longer run.
They can use again at 6 months and 8 months and 9 months. So that's the main thing. And the last thing is, we also don't want it to be too bulky. Like, I think everything in there is very portable. If you want to take it on the go, you can. Otherwise, put it in the tote bag, and that's the main goal. So that's our box one. I do have a few samples from box two, which is not out yet, but will be out very soon in June. Or hero toy for box two is actually our tummy time pillow, because we spoke about tummy time, but I feel like it's so like that's ingrained in everybody's mind. Tummy time is so important, and so we did a pillow to make it easier. And again, this is for 3 to 6 months, it's to do tummy time. And then once they start to sit, you can use it, to help sit and to help to help develop all the sitting skills. Yeah. With this, and then my favorite, I have to say, of all our toys for now is this little book, which is crinkly and has a lot of little activities in it and little things and lots of things that baby can touch and baby can see.
They can chew on the book because it's so simple.
And they can chew on the book. Yeah. Great chewing book. And there's a lot of different, textures for them to feel, which is very important for cognitive development. So yeah, I just find it so cute. That's my favorite. And by the time we get to 3 months, we're kind of abandoned the black and white, because they can see colors. And so that's really important for me to have, for books to be, or books and or toys in general to be colorful. Because I like toys to be fun. And I think babies and kids, they like colors. This is not something, I think there's been a trend in the recent years of having more woods and having more muted tones so that it fits better in, in your living room or in your house. And I'm a little against that. I think my main thing is when my kid was little, I don't know what color are your kids' favorite colors, but when my daughter was, maybe 2-3 years old, when you would ask her, what's your favorite color? Her answer was always rainbow.
Rainbow? Yeah, I was just going to say rainbow.
And I think a lot of kids like rainbow, they like colors in general. They can't have a favorite one. They just like vibrancy and like things that are colorful. And so that's kind of the take here is if your child's favorite color is rainbow, this is where we come from. Still cute, but also colorful.
Yeah. No, I think exposure to color, it's great too because it develops the eye.
Yes. Once they actually we found research that also say that even for like small kids, once they can see the colors, it's actually good for them. Like, yes, it helps with vision, but also they've done research that say that it keeps them, focused longer. So that is also why we're on the two colors.
Kids love colors. Yeah. I guess my next question is the materials, right? Because a lot of times, I mean, it's just the market oversaturated with different plastic toys and it's a big research chunk that for newly parents, they have to do because obviously everything will go to baby's mouth. Can you tell us a little bit more about this system?
Yeah, of course. So all our toys, so the first box, we have a lot of fabric, honestly, because that's what's nice for babies. Anything that we have that's plastic is in what we call babies, like it's a plastic that's safe for babies and that's being used in a lot of baby toys. So it's all plastic or baby safe plastic. We also have some wood, which is like, sustainably harvested woods. The first box, we have a lot of, fabric that we make sure, again, like it's all tested by third-party lab to make sure that it doesn't have any chemicals and it's all safe for baby. So everything is tested and everything it's safe for newborns. I will say our first 2 boxes are very heavily fabric, like, have a lot of things that are fabric and a little bit of woods. As we're going to grow, or as the baby grows in age, we're going to have more toys. We're still have some plastic because like it's there, but I'd say we'll have more toys that have more wood in it, and then wood and fabric, because I do think that's actually something that's on the market. A lot of premium toy brands actually do mostly overcorrected on the plastic and went all in for the wood. And so it's a lot of wood if you look at like baby toys around 9 to like 15 months. And we kind of forget that, like, well, baby like fabric. They like to feel different texture. They like what's soft. Even my kids now, like if I put them in the toy store, even my 8-year-old, she's gonna pick a stuffy. That's the first thing they'll want, is something that's soft and something that is comfy and cozy. That's why we put a lot of fabric and things that are very soft and like interesting too. Not all the same fabric, but soft and cozy and comfy.
Originally, when we started, my oldest daughter, she was inspiration behind it, right? She was 1.5. She was climbing the walls. We live in Seattle. And my brother, I mean, obviously rainy winters, cold winters in Seattle. And my brother is like, you need a gym. Because in Ukraine, we grew up with similar type of gym, much smaller than we have now, but similar type. I was like, yeah, that would be awesome. And then he started researching, but he couldn't find that type of gym in US. There are a bunch of wooden ones, but wooden ones seems to just kind of, for a certain stage, they too small, right? When you put it.
And the pie triangle,
Yeah, so it's like, we knew she would outgrow them really soon. So, and then my brother kind of did his research, and eventually he started his own company because he couldn't find the proper one that he wanted for my daughter. So that's how Brainrich was born. But the funny part kind of came after, because once we start developing the company and kind of getting the feedback from people, well, first of all, we kind of find out that we originally kind of marketed to 3 years and older. It was more for safety, for coordination, because kids by 3, they're already kind of more agile. They know how to grab things and stuff. But the more we run a business, now we kind of shifting that bar all the way to infancy. Because it turns out we do get a lot of, while doing the podcast as well, we start to learn more about physical developments and stuff. So apparently, you can even start doing that since birth for kids, developing their grasp reflex, when you actually using the baby's own weight to hold, right? When you just kind of lifting up. So once they're getting older, you can start introducing a little bar to just kind of hold them by the bar. And then by they're like maybe 6 months of age, you can introduce even trapeze, because the size of a trapeze that we have, that little wooden bar, it actually fits perfectly for baby's hand, and you can start kind of hanging them. Of course, you'll have to support. So anywhere like up until maybe like 2 years of age, you still have to kind of support your child way more than older child on the gym. Because that's equipment. But the benefits are amazing, because once they start learning how to hang on the bar, then you start introducing them to monkey bar motion. And it turns out that monkey bar opens up the chest cavity. It helps develop like upper body strength. There's so many benefits introducing like babies to early on like physical development, which for a new parent, it doesn't even click that you can go that route and start developing your baby since early on. It's so amazing, the research behind it. It's super cool.
I think when you're a new parent, it's hard for parents to find the resource, even going online. If you either have the tips or you have the tools. You never have like both together, which is what you're trying to provide. What I'm trying to provide is really just like all-in-one solution for parents to help them understand their child's development.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's super amazing. Is there any closing thoughts, something that I haven't asked you and you would like to share about your company?
Yeah, I do want to say that our app is completely free. So you don't have to, and it's both available on iOS and Android. You can just download the app, and even just with that, if all you're looking for is activities for your babies or tips, we provide a lot of, Sarah Zuminski, our play expert, she provides a lot of activities that you don't need. Or if you have our toys, that's great. I'm not going to tell you not to buy our toys, because that's obviously how the company will keep existing. But mostly, if you don't want the toys, there's plenty of activities in there that you can use just
as a resource, educational resource.
It's just a resource. There is a milestone tracker to make sure that your baby is hitting all those milestones. We have the milestone tracker all the way up to H2, and we have activities all the way up to H2. And if you think that there is one milestone that your baby is not hitting, then again, we provide activity which are here to help you, to just put a resource out there for parents. And again, it's completely free to download, free to use. There's a link to our website in it, to look at the toys, but that's it. Otherwise, it's all the activities and everything else is free.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. It was super informative, and I'm pretty sure a lot of new parents, especially, they'll find it super beneficial. So thank you so much.